In this part of the course, we will look more deeply into the concept of activities, revising the concepts of loops and multiple instances of activities, as many business situations involve repeated activities. The first case that we are going to review consists of an activity that can be executed many times. The number of repetitions varies for each case and depends upon the characteristics of the case, i.e. of a business condition, but we only know if it is necessary to repeat it after the activity has been performed. In the drawing, we can see the way to diagram this type of situation that will be correct within BPMN. However, it is important to know that BPMN offers some attributes for activities that enable you to determine if an activity has to be repeated. This type of attribute is the loop type. There are two types of loops, but the loop type that enables us to diagram the situation previously described is the standard loop. For this reason, both diagrams will be equivalent. This loop property applies equally to simple activities as well as to complex activities or sub-processes. We are now going to see a business example where this type of standard loop is used. Imagine that we have a candidate selection process for a position. Suppose that the process covers the activities where the profile of the position is defined, the official notification is opened, resumes or CVs are received, an evaluation of the resumes is performed, and some candidates are selected. Let's focus on the activities receive and evaluate resume. They are performed for each candidate, and it is probable that they are performed sequentially until the defined number of candidates is reached. This number of candidates is a business condition established by each company. Therefore, to represent this business situation, we use a sub-process that contains the activities that should be performed for each candidate, and a standard loop type is defined for the sub-process. We are going to see how to define that an activity is repeated within the Bizaji process modeler. Good. Right-click over the activity and select the standard loop type. Once this is defined, there are some characteristics of this type of activity that allow you to establish their behavior. To configure them, right-click over the activity, select the Properties option, and place the cursor over the Advanced tab. Here we can see the BPMN attributes of the activity. For the standard loop, we have the following. Loop condition is a business condition that is evaluated at any moment of the activity or at the beginning or end. If the business condition is fulfilled, i.e. true, it continues within the loop. Loop maximum. It is possible to define a maximum number of repetitions, which when completed, the process exits from the loop. Test time. This attribute enables you to define the moment in which you wish to evaluate the business condition, if it is going to be before or after. If it is before, it signifies that the activity still has not been performed. If it is after, it indicates that it still has to be evaluated. This loop property applies equally to simple activities as well as to complex activities or sub-processes. Another situation where repetitive activities are presented is the case where an activity can be executed many times. The number of repetitions varies for each case, but it is known at some point of the execution before arrival at the activity. Normally, repetitions are performed in parallel. However, it is possible that they require sequential execution. The basic difference with respect to the standard loop is that in this case, a business condition is evaluated only once before the activity is initiated, and this business condition determines the number of repetitions of the activity. We will look at the issue of collective policies process. In this case, the first activity will be the quotation for all the cars of the policy. Then there will be the inspection process, which is performed individually for each car. This is followed by the issue of each one of the policies, and finally, the premium is charged to the company taking out the insurance. The sub-process of inspection, that should be performed individually for each of the quoted cars, and later we have the issue of policy activity, that is also performed individually for each car. In that once the vehicle has been inspected, the policy can be issued without waiting for all the vehicles to be inspected. Furthermore, in the case of the collective policies, it is necessary that all the individual policies are issued before the activities of invoicing and charging can be performed. When the repetitions are made in parallel, BPMN establishes an attribute that enables you to determine at which moment the process can continue. This attribute allows you to synchronize multiple instances of the activity that are executed concurrently. It has 4 possible ways of continuing the flow. The first is where none, this means no condition, is established. In this case, it is indicated each time that a token exits, the process continues with the next activity. The second option is all. That indicates that once all the instances of the activity are finished, it will pass to the following activity within the flow.